The attack is going to come. You would have thought 5Ks to go now. On the left-hand side is Feline in the red for Italy and Trek Segafredo. And the rider leading now is the King of the Mountains in the Giro d'Italia. That's Mikel Nieve on his wheel. Second place yesterday is Wout Poels, and a previous winner, of course, of this race, looking very, very comfortable. But where is Alberto Contador? I think he's just a little bit further down. That's Warren Barguil on the right-hand side. The Frenchman moving up for Sunweb in the white and black, looking like he's going to launch an attack.
I think he is. He's got to go long. This is for his own good, apart from anything else. 10th overall, the man for Team Sunweb. Kind of looks familiar, the livery. It's a bit like Giant as was, but a new team, Team Sunweb, and he has opened it up. Warren Barguil can do some great descents, can climb brilliantly as well, and in fact was being talked up as the favoured son of the French press until, of course, Alaphilippe stepped out, and now Pierre-Roger Latour and so many others. Strength in depth amongst the youngsters. Barguil still one of those. Pinot not tempted to join him from Francis-Saint-Jean to make it a day for France on this, the Queen's Day. Somebody else, I'm sure, will decide to go for this. And just seeing who's out of the saddle, very much so, and looking lively. Alberto Contador just gets up towards the front. Finally, at last, he appears, at least from this shot, to be moving into position. Valverde staying with him with 4.5 kilometres to go.
It's still Warren Barguil on the front. The 25-year-old Frenchman took a couple of stages, remember, in the Vuelta España back in 2013. He's still not, I don't think, fulfilled his potential. That little surge, it wasn't really a sharp acceleration, but drifted off the front. Certainly cannot hold that tempo. I think he's put himself into the red. Still Feline on the right for Trek Segafredo, the squad of Alberto Contador, and Mikel Nieve of Team Sky, the little rider from the Basque Country, setting that smooth rhythm. Still Wout Poels there, and looking, I can see Alejandro Valverde there is in the centre of your screen, about 5th or 6th wheel in the red jersey of race leader.
Also in there, about P7 at the moment, is Bahrain Marida's Jon Izagirre. Absolutely on stellar form last year, and of course don't forget 5th in Paris-Nice, 3rd in Romandy, runner-up in the Tour of Switzerland. This sort of terrain, he can eat it. The trouble is, also feasting at the top table are Contador and Valverde. They're all looking at each other at the moment. Pinot and Reichenbach are guiding themselves, and here we go. They're starting to mix it, and Sky it is, of course. Their principles can hold back. Poels, who wears the blood orange jersey, can sit in here. He's got a perfect excuse because they've sent a man up. Perfect play, as it was yesterday. Just a second place for Poels yesterday. Could turn it into a win today.
Well, this is Mikel Landa who's gone away. We saw him do this. Such a classy bike rider. Had a very difficult year last year with injury. He said that after the finish yesterday, he's very happy with the way he's gone because he didn't have a lot of race miles in his legs, but certainly looking good today. And remember, Team Sky have real strength in depth. I've said it before, but I need to say it again because they do have options. This is the moment he attacked up the inside. Nieve looks over his shoulder, got plenty of room, but remember, they have a flying Diego Rosa, they have Wout Poels as well as Mikel Nieve, all sitting high on the general classification. And at the moment, Mikel Landa has opened up a nice bit of a gap, looking very strong at the moment.
He is. It's a comfortable one just for the time being, and out of the saddle he sets a tempo. This is not the winning move, I wouldn't have thought. We'll see who decides to sail into the gap. Landa too well placed after finishing in 8th place yesterday. It's not going to be about him necessarily. 3.8 kilometres to go. If they do malfunction in the chase and potentially leave it until a time trial, I think they may well suffer. So somebody's going to have to reach out. One of the teams is going to have a go here. Perfect timing though by Team Sky. Just as they mobbed the front as well, they were able to sit up and almost anchor the field. If you like, just hold everyone back even momentarily, break their rhythm. As this man went up, they mobbed the front, and you had to go round them if you wanted to respond. Great work.
Well, definitely it's great work, a good tactic, because what this forces the other teams to do, especially Trek Segafredo with Alberto Contador and Alejandro Valverde, they have to chase. But what that happens is, if they chase, then Team Sky have the option to go over the top again. So this, as you said, maybe not the race winning move, but a little bit of a marker just to test the water, to force the other teams to try and bring back Mikel Landa.
Yeah, the motorcycle that was standing at the side of the road, by the way, was standing on gravel, and he just couldn't get away because every time he tried to leave, the back wheel started to spin, and it was firing gravel at everybody who was approaching. Thankfully, he did get out of there. Getting out of the pack at the moment is Landa, and stretches it. 3.4 kilometres to go. There's still a lot of this day remaining because of the climb. Matt, it does ease off at the last.
It does. The last 500 metres drop down to around 3%, so you can get yourself over the top. I wouldn't exactly call it plain sailing, but a far steadier rise to the line. But it has a steady rhythm. This is the sort of climb that suits a particular sort of climber. It's the kind of rhythm. Just get yourself into the sort of rhythm. You don't need to ride in that staccato sort of style, but at the moment, no response from the peloton. When, if, will it come?
Well, that's the picture we were looking for, showing us the gap here. No declared time gap, but we may well start timing a few ourselves. In fact, if we can just hold this picture. I'm not suggesting the director is listening to us, as humble souls, but I can tell you it is about 15 seconds he's got at the moment. 3.1 Ks remaining, and still he churns on. Now, maximum gradient that he's still got to take is about now, actually, about 11%. And here's the response. In fact, it's on the steeper part that they have gone for it. Alberto Contador is here. He has a look over his shoulder. Now, this is exactly what he was dealing with yesterday. Fellini's been working so very, very hard for Contador, but Contador here is starting to wrestle it as we pass those children. A great marker for us on our timings here. I think that Landa's job is now done, and we'll see where the kids are on the side of the road. There they are. So 10 seconds is what he's got. He had about 15. It's starting to close down. Sky just waiting and being guided into position at the moment by Alberto Contador. Now behind him, it's not Contador's teammate, it's Valverde. He's wearing the red leader's jersey. It's pretty indistinct from the Trek boys just in front of him. Poles is also there, working extraordinarily hard, and just behind him you've got Reichenbach with Thibaut Pinot as well from Francis de Jeux. This could be playtime for these boys. Let's see. Still they grind into it, and Contador is going to have to go alone. They've nearly bridged over. Proper work by Trek Segafredo.
Well, great work by Trek Segafredo. Fellini led Contador almost to Mikel Landa, but now Contador goes. He has the red jersey of race leader Alejandro Valverde. Valverde appears to have cracked.
Oh,
Contador goes.
He's gone pop. Valverde can't follow, not for the time being anyway. He's gone. Now who else is left? Reichenbach with Pinot are also there, and this is trying to retrieve the situation. He ran out of teammates for Movistar. Too much yesterday? Not quite sure. There's Wout Poels in the blood orange jersey as well, just sailing in behind Valverde as Contador starts to eat into the incline. 2.5 to go. This is a mighty, mighty effort. Reichenbach is still very much there and involved. So is Wout Poels, who's just about to bridge over to his teammate.
What an impressive attack there by Alberto Contador, 5 times Grand Tour winner, of course, an amazing display. I think it's still Mikel Landa in the middle, but did you see Valverde crack? He put him, well, basically the attack by Contador put Valverde in the red. He thought, no, it's dangerous to try and follow when you're in the red, so he's regrouped, he's got back, he needs a little bit of help, but what's happened is he's been isolated. It's still Mikel Landa in second place. Then you have the group led by Reichenbach. Also in there is Valverde and Wout Poels.
What a day, and what a day to show your heels to everybody else. Contador was angry yesterday, angry with Alejandro Valverde, and he would have loved that moment. As a pro, you kind of live for those moments, as you'll attest, Matt, where you stare down the opposition. You never quite know what Alejandro Valverde is going to do, and yesterday he didn't do enough as far as Alberto Contador was concerned, and so today Contador has gone and done it for himself.
Well, it's Thibaut Pinot, the Frenchman, who's chasing now. He has Wout Poels on his wheel. Then it's Alejandro Valverde. Then I think it's difficult with the picture breakup. There is Landa still in between. Looks like Landa is holding Contador. The question is, has Alberto Contador gone too early? Still 2.2 kilometers to go. The gradient very even until the last 5K, but look at his face. He's in the red zone here. Can he hold on all the way to the line?
The only thing I fear for Alberto Contador is that occasionally he goes on the attack when he's absolutely the end of his resources. It's almost like the final play of a poker player, but he can win, and today it may well be it. He could not only win, he could have a gap, He could carry it into a time trial tomorrow. He could go on to take the title. It's a brave Alberto. Of course, it is he. King of the mountain at the moment, in more ways than one. 2 kilometres to go when he sees the Flamme Rouge. Right now, he's got, what, about 1,500 metres before it eases, and it's starting to get easier, as if it possibly could in this sort of circumstance. There's the 2 to go marker. The policeman almost looked like he was arresting somebody there. Right now, at the moment, the man who's in control, though, is Alberto Contador, and what a fine push this is.
Well, it's a fine ride by Thibaut Pinot. It looks like the race leader has cracked. He's with Izagirre, so yeah. Valverde in all sorts of problems on this climb to the line. Looks like he's conceded nearly 20 seconds now. Contador presses on. He glances over to see the damage he's caused. He has shredded this field.
Yeah, Reichenbach was back there as well, I'm afraid, and here is Contador, and he's starting to smile. Or is it a grimace?
I think it's a grimace.
Possibly a bit of both. With 1,800 metres to go, he's got 500 metres of a lesser incline. Let's put it that way. It's still pretty significant. There's a gain over these last 3 kilometres, the last 1.9. Indeed, there's 5 bends to take. In fact, he's out of the bends right now, I should say. Pinot it is that stretches his legs, and just going pop after so much work. Michael Landa still tries to guide Wout Poels here, trying to keep in the frame his teammates when we get to the time trial. More than in the frame at the moment, in the golden throne, I think you might say, by the end of the day. Surely it's going to be this man. He'll exchange the red and black for the all red of the leader jersey, I'll be bound, when he brings this one home. He's got the crowd behind him as well, and the terrain is starting to come his way as well. There's Valverde. Is he seeing it all go away from him? And with Jon Izagirre as well, who I expected to be one of the principals today, and they've been found wanting by a Sky team who've been able to hold back. As a team, Sky lead that ranking, and they've played it beautifully today. But it's only going to be runners-up marks, I think, for them, with 1,600 metres to go.
Well, still 1,600 metres to go, and as you said, Carlton, in around 1,100 metres, the gradient lessens. Alberto Contador needs to have a hefty gap. But look at Thibaut Pinot, only about 40 or 50 metres behind. Thibaut Pinot riding extremely well. Then you have that trio of Sky riders. You have Mikel Landa there, Wout Poels and Diego Rosa. Look at Valverde looking for assistance from his ex-teammate. It's not over yet, Carlton.
It is not over yet, but it is, I'm afraid, for the lead of Alejandro Valverde. He's not going to make amends for this. Pinot, what a brave ride by him, and shows you what a turnaround. He had a tummy bug in Valencia, got himself into all kinds of bother. We thought he hadn't recovered properly and thought that he would be backing up Reichenbach. It was the other way round, and Thibaut Pinot is stood tall today, but not as tall as the little guy, Alberto Contador, who still pushes on. It just started to ease, as you can see. That's the sort of terrain that I could cope with, maybe. But Thibaut Pinot is coping very well indeed. He's starting to eat into this gap. Well, Contador may not have things all his own way. Pinot yesterday finished down the order. He was finished in 8th place, only gave away 5 seconds. There's no time bonuses at the line, and Contador has to respond, and he does so. He's going for it. That 27 seconds is back to the leaders group. That group being, of course, a one-man group right now, as Izagirre just leads Alejandro Valverde behind. In fact, that's Wout Poels, who's just about to be caught by Valverde, who still hasn't given up either. He wants to eat into this gap, maybe do something on the short time trial. The motorcycle just cutting through the field right now, but cutting through the mountaintop is Alberto Contador, and I think he's going to land this, save for the efforts of Thibaut Pinot, might just get close.
Absolutely thrilling finale into the final kilometre. There's that familiar style of Alberto Contador, in and out of the saddle. Did him a disservice earlier on. Remember, he's won 7 Grand Tours in his career. Is he on course for a victory to get today? Still 800 metres to go, and the Frenchman closing with every pedal stroke.
He is. Rosa and Landa are still in the frame. Poels tells them to go on. In fact, they did so much work out there, and Valverde's bridged to them. He sailed past Poels out there. Poels wearing the orange jersey, lent to him by Valverde. It'll be Valverde in orange tomorrow, I imagine, unless something dramatic happens over the last 900 metres, but I think he's got it. Shame we can't get a camera here on Pinot to find out what the gap is. 800 metres only, 13 seconds. That's back to Valverde, don't forget. And as the camera pulls round, you can see Pinot. It's going to be a sprint for the line. 800 metres to go, and Pinot's picked it up here. Contador has done an awful lot on his own, has got to basically basically keep his mind up the road. He'll allow himself a glance over his shoulder. I'm sure there is virtually nothing between them. Objects in the mirror appear closer than they actually are. Well, I can tell you right now that Pinot is an awful lot closer than he looks to Contador at the moment. This essentially is mano a mano to the line. It's not 15 seconds the gap between Contador and Pinot. Contador, I think, might well just get mugged here. He knows it. He stands up out of the saddle. He's trying to drive into this incline. It's not a particularly tough one, probably about 4.8%. Pinot knows that he's got a chance here. Has a look over his shoulder. It's going to be about the last 300 metres, and Pinot's going to come up alongside him. Oh my goodness, the Frenchman, what a turnaround from illness in Valencia. He's now got a chance of taking this stage. This is absolutely remarkable. Contador might leave it until the time trial. Here comes Valverde limiting the damage. He's coming into the hoarded sections. Pinot goes round the Contador. He lights it up. Contador can't respond, surely. Pinot is going to get a phenomenal victory here. That was absolutely outstanding. Count the metres down to a famous victory for the Frenchman. He has delivered a hammer blow to Contador, who'll take the seconds gap that he has over Valverde, who finishes across the line right now. That's about 4 seconds, 5 possibly. Izaguirre still in the frame, and here comes a brave, well, Pauls as well as his teammates of Rosa and indeed Landa go across the line. Wow, what a stage. It was the Queen stage, and we've got a king, and he is the sun god. It's T